Hello! Massage!
Brakes. Overtaken by Hero. Nice. Tunnel. Well, weather's a bit shit, view's a bit shit. Just another rubbish day in the office.
Here we can see 3 or 4 members of the Dove Mafia playing with stones by a lake in the rain.
You sods doing?
Give him some bread. Go on. There's some in the bin.
You greedy sods.
Off the baguette.
Oh, we're going to feed him now. We'll have a flock of the buggers here in a minute.
Well, you love wildlife, especially.
No. Oh, I don't think it sounds too bad. This, on the other hand.
Oh no.
What a road. Well, members of the DM here have gone out for a bit of a walk. I would say a walk, we seem to be climbing up the side of a freaking mountain. We've had a breakdown. Full shoe failure, so implementing a key ring to strap this back together again. How's it looking like, James? Anyway, I think we'll be back on the footpath shortly.
That's my first ride in the DT. Chris is at the helm. No lob in sight. And Darren is not even within a mile of the car. How has this been allowed? Yeah, no, we're just going along steady, and well, I can't believe how these boys have sat in the thing for well, I think it must be up to 1,600 miles now. At least. They got 7 hours of it in here tomorrow. Going to put some fuel in it so then tomorrow we can just sort of put a few miles on. Trying to get Chris to push the magic button on down here. Oh well. Like a bloody spaceship in here. Oh, Darren's actually got his toolbox out. Hello.
Well, we thought we'd better try and stop this water splashing issue.
Alright, yeah. So the issue being is water splashing on this massive belt.
It's splashing on this front splash guard in here. And because there's no inner guard, of course it's hitting that and just redirecting in there. So we bought this handy dandy floor mat in the supermarket.
And we are now using
cable tying it in, so hopefully the water will
run down
there and hopefully help alleviate that problem.
Because it's not doing the belt a lot of good. That's what it needs.
You know what will happen? We'll do all this and it won't rain tomorrow.
Well, probably not.
So that'll be ideal then.
Either way, it was €3, so.
Oh, well, €3 well spent. Yes, this here starts spinning, and then obviously fuel pressure drops and we get a puff of smoke and then it cuts out. How many cable ties are we up to now, Darren?
3 so far.
3? Only 3? God.
Yeah, I haven't finished it. Got a terminal bolt up here though, it's quite fresh.
So another.
It's not that cheap, you have to actually physically.
Been here for 15 minutes or so, and Darren has now said he's finished. Look at that.
These are some coat hangers cut up.
Yeah.
A few cable ties. Hopefully that'll keep
When you lock the wheel round.
Yeah, I think it might kiss it, but we'll just have to be a bit careful.
Don't go full left-hand lock.
No. And hopefully the water will just hit the
Run
floor
down
now.
off that. No, that seems alright. We'll see tomorrow. If not, we'll just have to rag it off.
Hopefully it won't rag itself off.
No.
Via that boat.
No, that is what we're trying to save. He ain't sure. He's been caught before. verdict.
Injector 4.
Injector number 4 is giving us some jip. How can you tell that it's playing up, Rowan?
He's jammed at 5+ and hasn't even changed. So I'm going to guess that.
So injector number 4. Now this being a Peugeot engine over there. So we need a 10mm, a 17.
13. 10, 13.
Is he on studs for when he for the clamp?
Sorry?
Is he on studs on the clamp?
Yeah.
Ah, so we won't strip the threads.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see what happens in a moment. You get your gloves from Rowan.
So whoever was asking, they are Polico GL 2003. They're epic. They're like 20 quid a box though, but you don't talk about with them because they don't break.
Yeah. They are knobbly.
Yeah, gripped.
Can I ask what brand of tools you're using?
We've got the sample, we've got the Tang set out, we've got some. Is that my Craftsman or is that my Halfords?
Was it a 9? Oh no, 17. Tell you what, can you wiggle and lift, and I'll pick up the
Wiggle and lift.
Sounds like a bit of a dance move.
and I'll lift the little thing under there. Yep.
Back in a moment. Because this engine is using studs for the injector clamps, got to fully strip off the bracket. Sam's going through his toolbox, which has got any named brand whatsoever.
The Milwaukee cutters have seen some action.
Oh, there she is.
Nice.
Now you got to find the other injectors now. Yamamoto. There she be. Oh well. Leave these boys to put that back together for a minute. See how she starts. Started.
No, that's the same.
So does that suggest?
That suggests it's a different injector.
We've never checked the build number on the Caddy. We're actually all of us gone to check now.
Last day in Italy today, on our way out. First thing, left 7 o'clock this morning. This is just our first fuel stop. Just having a few issues getting the Volvo filled up with some payment issues, I think. But otherwise the diesels are all full to the brim, ready, heading back to Germany now for our final night before we come back to the UK. What do you think of it, Rowan?
My life.
Where are you, Mark?
Hopefully.
How's the Nanstone? Dripping diesel?
Yeah,
Dripping diesel all over
we
the
don't talk
rear
about that. Here he is, Lobb, back in the driver's seat. Ready for today's shenanigans?
7 hours.
How's your doormat doing?
No issues as of yet.
We'll wait till we get up to
I'm
speed.
thinking when we do the first official stop, I might glance my head to see if there's any marks in the doormat where it has been touching.
The doormat or the coat hanger?
Well, the coat hangers are this side, so as long as you don't go hard around to the left, she'll be right.
Does she scrub on full lock?
I haven't tried it.
Oh.
I would have thought it would touch it, yeah.
Oh, wow. Go steady. Saturday morning, we're on our way out from Italy. Usual rubbish views. Left the campsite about, I don't know, 7 o'clock-ish this morning. Everything seems to be running alright. We've got some rain predicted today, so reasonably hitting the roads a bit earlier. Hopefully we should get ahead of it, or at least do minimal driving in the rain before it sets in. It's not looking overly great up there, but hopefully it's just cloud cover and no actual I only said when we come off the motorway, I thought his ass must be starting to twitch now. How many times did this say now, Sam? Oh. Nice and quiet.
I didn't think you refilled it, Sam, before you selected.
Even though worrying everyone, James. Nice and quiet here. Right, well, we've made Germany, and the rain has started. As you can see, it's quite wet on the road. These German roads just seem to, well, just hold the water. We don't actually seem to drain off much. It's spray like mad.
This will be a true test of the new floor mat modifications, I think, in the wheel arch.
Yeah.
This will be giving us issues, I think.
We would be, yeah, but I know we'd normally be having issues, so good luck is actually do something and stay in there too. See you later. 4 on the floor has just rolled up. Bet she's done some miles today. She's been to Ulm, rescued the jacket. Down you go. Ding, ding, ding. The DM does hostile. Who's having a go on who tonight?
Well, it's a Sunday morning, nearly at the end now, making our way back up through in Belgium now. Final day, set off this morning, good time, 6 o'clock from Germany. No real issues today like that, other than a few cars running out of fuel here and there. Touch wood, everything else seems to be running okay. Long drive today, 6 or 7 hours up to this side, and then obviously this is pretty much the same again back down to Cornwall. So a bit of a testing day for the DT. She's done worse, but yeah, we're nearly there. So fingers crossed we're going to make it at least back over the other side of the water. Not sure if my last video clip's going to work or not. Just found the GoPro in the bottom of the bag, so I'll give it another go anyway. Still on our way back, getting super close now. Hour and a half out from Calais, so we're nearly there. All still going at the moment. Weather is still on our side today, which is good. We haven't actually really seen hardly any rain at all. We're running about 3 hours ahead of schedule in the hope we might be able to get an earlier train. Otherwise we're going to have to sit around at the terminal for 3 hours until our 5 o'clock train, which is the one we've got booked. But in previous years we've got there early and managed to get on an earlier train, which obviously means we can all get going in the UK a bit earlier and get home a bit quicker, because there's still another sort of 5 hours plus driving once we get back over there. 7, sorry. Bit of roadworks here at the moment.
Now we're reeling them in. 80k left. We've made it to the terminal. Just a few more feet now, and she'll be back on the train. Which means, one way or another, it's going to end up back in the UK. Still potential for an issue yet, though. Here we are. Just got to make it down the ramp and in the train. Hopefully we can get it downstairs again. We're in. Whatever happens now, she's going back to home soil.
Even if we got to push the out.
Even if we got to push the out. Ruins upstairs. Sam was on the train before. They got here slightly before us and typically had the last slot on that previous train. And James is behind us somewhere on this train. We got a bunch of bikes up in front of us. Just gonna give you this. It's menacing. We're away.
go. Here's a transfer to British soil. And we're there. Very lovely.
Just remember to drive on the left now, Darren.
Yeah, remember to drive on the left now, Darren. And the weather's handsome as well. Can't
Straight
beat
over
it.
a bit of silage. Look out.
Who is that? Might need to edit that out. Well, here we go. It's the end of our convoy. Cheers and gone, Fishley. We've on our tod. This is our time remaining. Let's hope we make it. Here we go, boys and girls. Here's a sight that wouldn't cockles of any Cornish man or woman. It is the nearly home trees. Come on, girl, we're nearly home. We're almost on Cornish soil. Here we are.
She's done it.
She's done it.
Germany to Cornwall in a day.
Left Germany 6 o'clock this morning.
Still running.
It's now 7:15 in the evening. So 13.25 hours. We're home. Wow.
Nearly.
Nearly. Another 45 minutes and we should be there. Hopefully. She's made her!
We've made it back. I can't believe it. Somehow she's made it. We had a quick tot up earlier. What was it? We think in total 20. Oh, I've forgotten now. It was 2,200 miles before we drove home. So
I reckon, why, yeah. Fair few. Cheers and gone. That's the Eurotrip done. Well, this thing made it. We got back to Exeter. Went all the way. No faults as I could see. We did change injectors in Italy. And it has seemed to gain, well, all of 15 horsepower, if not a bit more. It does feel a bit more lively. What's highlighted from the trip, that wheel bearing is slightly noisy when on the corners, so may look at that. I think MOT's coming up the next month, so I've got one down there, so I'll probably get that changed. I think else the car is we've done everything else on the MOT advisories, such as a brake pipe, tyres. So she done through 2,538 miles. That was a round trip from here when we left with Darren to when we got back. So not too bad, as I think we averaged over 50 to the gallon, because it seems we were on dual carriageway runs. But yeah, all pretty tidy still. So yeah, we'll it was a good trip, and the car's done really well, I think. So we shouldn't have to. We'll just give it back to Rowan, and I think he's gonna hopefully crack on and put a different engine in it, something with 16 valves, which will make it a little bit more interesting rather than just a stage 1 306. But there we go. Cheers and gone.
What's going on, guys? Right, you joined me about 3 or 4 weeks after the trip. I've lost track of quite just how long it's been, but as you can see, we all made it back somehow. Miraculously, didn't actually have that many major issues. I think probably the biggest issue we had, to be honest, was just that 5th gear strip out in Sam's transmission. And obviously we had a bit of trouble with the water in this one, with the snow and everything on the way down through. But aside from that, we had a little heater matrix leak there as well on one of the fittings I had feeding that. But aside from that, it pretty much kept going, which surprised me and Chris a lot. Sorry the last couple of videos have been a bit slow, we've just been pretty busy since we've been back. This is going to be the last one now, so I just thought I'd have a bit of a sum up here at the end. So yeah, we all made it back. We did actually work out, so every time we filled up with fuel, we kept a track of how many miles we covered and also how much fuel we put in, so at the end we could figure out just roughly what kind of economy we were actually getting. And when we've actually added it all up, we did 2,612 miles. That's including, so that's from here back to here again, total trip mileage. And when you work out the fuel economy on that, it works out as just over 50 miles to the gallon. So when you consider that we had a huge amount of tools in the boot, as in couldn't get any more tools in the boot, hell of a lot of extra weight, me and Chris and our luggage, I would have thought that if you sort of took all that back out again and just were running with normal running weight, it's still probably going to be doing 55 miles to the gallon, which to be honest with you is what my daily driver HDI does anyway. So it does seem to still be doing good economy even with everything that we've done to it, maybe just, you know, slightly down, obviously with major sacrifice to comfort, noise and all the rest of it. To be honest, it wasn't anything like as bad as we actually anticipated it to be. I think putting the seats and everything back in the back was well worth it. That made a huge difference. So I think you just saw from Mark's last video, obviously the Ruins car got back as well. Again, no real issues. They had a bit of a problem with one of the injectors, but that was more a problem going out. I think they're just old, you know, old high mileage injectors, and one of them was just not happy. You could hear in quite a few of the videos actually when Ruin went past, if you were listening closely, or the diesel heads amongst you could probably hear it had a bit of a off tone to it. You could hear it was not firing off on one cylinder quite the same. But they actually put another set of injectors that Ruin brought with him. I think he kind of somewhat anticipated issues. So they swapped them out, as you saw in Italy, and after that, no trouble at all. In fact, I think it actually picked up quite a bit of power. I think the other nozzles, the nozzles they put in were obviously either different or more worn out with bigger holes or something, because it was obviously, you could tell it was smoking a bit more and making more power. So I think Mark was quite happy about that. So that one pulled home, no trouble at all. Obviously the Volvo, well, yeah, the Volvo, it made it. And Sam's car again, other than the gearbox, really we had that obviously fairly major problem with the transmission on the way down, but other than that, no other real problems. We had a bit of trouble, I think, at one point with the turbo control a few times. To be honest, more than anything, that's just lack of time before the trip to get it actually properly mapped out and sorted. It was really thrown together, the turbo control, sort of wide open, same as my car really, at wide open throttle, and all the rest of it wasn't fully finished. So I'm sure Sam will spend some time just working on that now, getting that all dialed in. I think I did hear some talk of maybe trying to convert it to electric actuator, which I think would be a big upgrade, a significant improvement over the vacuum system, which never just seems to work very well. So yeah, all four cars have made it back to the UK. 2,600 miles for us two in Cornwall. We've got loads of cool photos of it in sort of, I think, 8 different countries we went to in the end. So I think the videos have come out fairly okay. I haven't really watched all of it properly, but hopefully it was pretty interesting. We'll try and do it again next time, hopefully. But yeah, leave a comment if you've enjoyed it. We'll try and do maybe the same next year. Who knows what we'll be doing next year. And thanks to all the people that have commented and liked it and stuff. I've had lots of new followers. I also noticed quite a few new followers from sort of foreign countries where we've been, so I can only assume that's probably some of the people that were waving at us and obviously saw the stickers and stuff in the car. So if any of you lot have found your way to the YouTube channel, thanks very much. So I think that's pretty much it. Eurotrip 2019. Cheers and gone.